Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, authorities in DeWitt County are searching for a man accused in a shooting over the weekend.
New technology is coming to Victoria County just in time for the November 7th election.
And leaders in the state's largest power grid send out a warning to Texans. Will it be able to hold out this winter? More on this straight ahead.
Lots of sunshine and warming temperatures into the weekend. What happened to the need for any sweaters in October? We'll have more on your forecast coming up.
A suspect managed to escape a courtroom in Harris County. The search is underway now. How he escaped coming up. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon. Thank you for being with us. I'm James Munoz. Karina Garcia will join us again in a moment. Well, the next time you cast your ballot in Victoria County, you'll use the latest in voting technology. Elections Administrator for Victoria County, Margetta Hill, held an open house demonstration today. These new machines are easier to use, quicker to operate, and more reliable. When you vote, your ballot will print out on paper, which you will then insert into a nearby tabulator. Hill says voting is now a two-step process. Every time you vote, your vote is stored electronically and on paper to maximize accuracy.
I just want everybody to, when they come and vote, to remember you'll mark it and then you'll leave it in the tabulator where they scan it.
All polling locations in Victoria County are equipped with these new polling machines. The Victoria County Democratic Party has named a new party chair. Peter Takis, a longtime Victorian, has taken on the mantle as local party leader. The previous chairman stepped down from his position in September. 25 News Now anchor Karina Garcia joins us now with Peter Takis. Karina.
James, thank you. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
So, the last time a Democrat was elected to our District 27 was back in 2011. Can this still happen? Can a Democrat hold a seat in the area?
I think so. I think there are more Democrats here than people think there are.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're hoping to do is to not only grow the party, but flush all these hidden Democrats out.
Okay. So what are some of your goals or priorities as the Victoria County Party Chair?
My primary goal is to grow the party. We've already experienced a lot of growth. We have filled up our precinct chairs, and we're going to be going and basically just showing people that there are Democrats here, people that care about the environment and all sorts of other issues, and hoping to get people enthusiastic about taking part in government, becoming part of, how should I say, not the silent majority, but the sounding majority.
Got it. So previously, we've also interviewed Wildre Wilson-Wagner, and he was the former county chair. One of the reasons he said he stepped down from the position was because Democrats only wanted to meet with Democrats within the Victoria County Party. How do you plan to address these concerns?
Well, we have a meeting once a month, and everybody, including Republicans and people of other parties, are also invited to it. It's an open meeting. We have some food, not a whole lot, but there is some food that, and they're just really welcome to partake in this. So we are planning a number of outreach programs to actually, and this is for everybody, not just for Democrats, but also for Republicans.
And how would you describe the strengths and weaknesses within the Victoria County Democratic Party?
I think that we have been silent for way too long, and we need to make our voice heard. And that would be the biggest fault that we have had, and I'm hoping to counteract that.
Can you elaborate on how you would create a community within the party that fosters communication, unity, and effectiveness?
Actually, that is what our meeting up in October or this month is going to be about, are the methods that we're going to use to do this. I'm not exactly sure. We're willing to take, in fact, that's what the meeting is about, is to have everybody think about it and bring up their ideas as to what we can do to really create outreach.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for your time and being with us today.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
And James, back to you.
The DeWitt County Sheriff's Office is searching for 36-year-old Cody Allen Eggemeyer of Westhoff. Eggemeyer is accused of shooting 54-year-old James Lubienski of Yorktown last Sunday. Authorities chased Eggemeyer in Westhoff Tuesday afternoon. Authorities say Eggemeyer ran from the vehicle he was in, jumped a fence, and went into a pasture. Eggemeyer is on the run and is considered armed and dangerous. If you have any information, call the DeWitt County Sheriff's Office. Eggemeyer, accused of shooting 54-year-old James Lubienski last Sunday, again was transported to Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio, where he was treated and released. An arrest warrant was put out for Lubienski. He turned himself into the DeWitt County Sheriff's Office Tuesday night. He's charged with aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury. Lavaca County Elections Administrator Amy Claysel resigned last Wednesday. The Shiner Gazette reports Claysel said she quit her job, citing a very hostile work environment at Lavaca County. Claysel specifically named several people in her letter, including County Judge Keith Mudd. Judge Mudd says he was shocked by the resignation and thanked Claysel for her service. Judge Mudd said he was shocked again, and that was his statement. Early voting in the state's constitutional amendment election starts next Monday. I just stepped outside and it was really warm.
I know, that bummed me out.
Mac, I thought it was fall and going to cool down.
Where did it go?
13
is the
days
question.
to Halloween.
Well, it's that big south wind. It's going to make you perspire in your costume. Actually, no. We will have some changes by then. But this weekend is going to be on the warm side. You want to lay out by the pool in your sweater. That would look good. We'll be talking more about your extended outlook and the rain chances in about 10 days. Coming up in just a moment, so stay tuned.
Mac, thank you. On to the fight for Speaker of the House. Ohio Republican Jim Jordan has failed to win the vote to become House Speaker, this time losing the support of 22 Republicans.
The House is now in recess as Republicans try to figure out a way to move forward and reopen the House.
Today, Ohio Republican Jim Jordan losing his second bid for Speaker of the House. A second round of voting on the floor, resulting in 22 Republicans voting against him.
A speaker has not been elected.
Jordan did pick up 2 holdouts who switched their votes and one who didn't attend Tuesday's vote, but he lost the support of 4 other Republicans, meaning he went from 200 votes yesterday to 199 today. Jordan needs 217 votes to become Speaker, but Jordan says he's not giving up.
Look, I already proven I can get from the most conservative members of the conference to the more moderate members of the conference.
House Rules Chairman Tom Cole nominating Jordan today, defending Kevin McCarthy against the move to oust him as Speaker 2 weeks ago, but today calling on the party to rally around Jordan.
I think the last 2 weeks have vindicated that observation. But we have a chance today to end that chaos and to end that uncertainty.
Cole commending Jordan's work on committees and his stance on spending, immigration, and more. Jordan, however, has not authored a single bill in his 16 years in the House. House Democratic Caucus Chairman Pete Aguilar nominating Hakeem Jeffries for Speaker again, praising him as someone who can keep a caucus united, all while chastising Republicans.
The country can't afford more delays and more chaos. 15 days should be enough.
Following Jordan's failed second bid, sources tell ABC News Republicans plan to hold a closed-door conference meeting where they'll try to figure out a short-term solution moving forward. Ike Ajachi, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
Cooler temperatures might be what some people are hoping for, but ERCOT is worried a cold snap could lead to an energy emergency. ERCOT estimates there's a 20% chance a cold blast like December's winter storm, Elliott, could cause an electricity emergency. They have asked generators to consider restarting retired power plants, including some polluters that were offline for years. ERCOT will sign off on these proposals in November. Fortunately, board members say this will be the first cold season since power plants have weatherized their equipment for specific low temperatures. So here is your viewer poll this afternoon. You can scan that QR code on your screen to vote. The question is, do you feel like ERCOT is prepared to handle major changes in the weather? Yes or no? We want to hear your opinion on this. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 6.
A courtroom brawl was caught on camera in Houston. The fight broke out Tuesday after a man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend accepted accepted a plea deal.
Now a search is underway in Harris County for another man who managed to escape his leg shackles and walk out of the courthouse.
A massive search right now for 32-year-old Michael Combs, who somehow managed to break out of his shackles and walk out of the Harris County Criminal Courthouse without anyone noticing. Only on 13, I spoke to his mother on the phone, who has this to say to him.
To turn himself in, ma'am. But all I wish I could fight harder for him to come.
Around 10 a.m., a judge revoked his bond. The sheriff's office says Combs was put in leg shackles and sitting on a bench waiting to be transferred. That's when a brawl broke out in a courtroom on the same floor between another suspect and the victim's family. Our camera happened to capture the chaos.
At this time, the panic button went off and the deputies left to go and assist. During that time, he took this opportunity to somehow get out of the shackles and left the courtroom.
How does someone with shackles manage to get those off?
That's still being investigated.
And then he just walked outside the courtroom?
He walked out.
And he's been on the run since. According to records, Combs was out on bond after he was charged with assaulting his ex-girlfriend and the mother of his 2 children. Records show in March of last year, she told him she couldn't date anymore. They got into a fight, and at one point she told investigators he grabbed her throat with one hand and used his other hand to punch her in the face multiple times. She said she thought she was going to die. Records state he violated his bond conditions by testing positive for meth and shutting off his GPS monitor. His mother says she spoke to Combs this morning and he told her he didn't want to go back to jail.
I feel like my child is danced up in a corner.
Here's some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. Early voting in Calhoun County starts Monday, the 23rd. The Calhoun County Ministries Food Pantry administrator is warning of a food shortage amid low donations. And one lucky winner in El Campo received a 2023 Ford Bronco Sport Big Bend vehicle after buying a lucky raffle ticket. Read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com.
President Biden wraps up his trip in Israel after Hamas's deadly weekend attack. Straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5, his comments about the deadly hospital blast. Also ahead, climate activist Greta Thunberg in trouble with the law after a fossil fuel protest in London. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. We'll be right back. Biden was in Israel Wednesday amid the nation's ongoing conflict with Hamas. Key Arab leaders canceled meetings with Biden after an explosion at a hospital in Gaza killed hundreds of Palestinians. Arab heads of state blamed Israel for the explosion, but Israel says the blast was a result of a failed Islamic Jihad rocket launched from Gaza. President Biden addressed the deadly blast as well as the suffering on both sides of the conflict.
Palestinian people are suffering greatly as well. We mourn the loss of innocent Palestinian lives like the entire world. I was outraged and saddened by the enormous loss of life yesterday in the hospital in Gaza. Based on the information we've seen to date, it appears the result of an errant rocket fired by a terrorist group in Gaza.
This all comes in the wake of Hamas's October 7th terrorist attacks on Israel, killing 1,400 people. Palestinian health leaders say nearly 3,500 people were killed in Gaza.
Israel will allow Egypt to deliver limited quantities of humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip, the first crack in a 10-day seal on the territory. Palestinians are still reeling from that massive blast at Gaza City Hospital the day before and are growing increasingly desperate as food and water supplies run out. The Israeli Prime Minister's office said the decision was approved after a request from visiting President Biden. About 1 in every 5 U.S. students between the ages of 12 and 18 said they were bullied in a 2019 nationwide survey by the National Center for Education Statistics.
And the health experts say prevention is critical.
It can impact every part of a person's life. Being bullied as a child can leave lasting scars.
It can make some kids feel depressed, hopeless, even suicidal.
Parents and caregivers play a big role in bullying prevention, says licensed therapist Jody Baumstein with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta's Strong for Life program.
No child plans or wants to be a bully. And so we got to think about what it is that's going on.
Baumstein says prevention starts at home by creating a safe environment where children can talk about their feelings.
We don't want kids to start to internalize things, push things down, suck it up, because it's going to come out at some point. It's going to come out in other ways. It could come out at other people.
Empathy is also a key component, Baumstein says, to teach kids early how to think about others and how their behavior may impact someone else.
You can do this with play. And when you're playing with puppets or dolls or anything else, get them to think about what the other characters or dolls might be experiencing. Or if you're reading a book, stop and pause and ask them, what do you think that character is feeling?
Baumstein says to also teach coping skills to help children navigate their feelings so they don't come out in other ways.
That could be everything from deep breathing to using physical activity and movement to release stress, to being creative, drawing, coloring.
And finally, teach by example.
We can't expect kids to do something that we ourselves are not doing.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Climate activist Greta Thunberg faces charges for a protest in London Tuesday. She's one of 26 people arrested outside the Energy Intelligence Forum. Greenpeace says they blocked entrances to prevent fossil fuel executives and other delegates from meeting in London. London Metropolitan Police say demonstrators' failure to move violated the Public Order Act. She is due back in court on November 15th. Here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Cuero Record. The DeWitt County Historical Museum celebrates 50 years, and the Cuero Regional Hospital is hosting a blood drive tomorrow from 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. in the Education Classroom. You can read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Lots of sunshine, pretty nice day. It's just getting a little too warm. In October, we usually pull our sweaters out, don't we? I guess not. 81 right about now. We managed to get up to a high of 83 today. That's actually where we're supposed to be this time of year. This weekend is warm. Next week, remember I promised you some possible rain coming from the West Coast? I'm still promising that. We'll talk about it in just a moment. Welcome back, everybody. You may have noticed the temperatures. You might not have noticed the wind. The wind actually turned up from the south and got a little bit stronger today. That's one of the reasons why we are getting warmer. And of course, the next one is that we're looking at the Pacific storms rolling up to the north. It's pretty far away from us, but all of this is rolling up in that area. Now, right about here, you can see this little dip in the atmosphere, and that's going to be that little dry line that we're promising you for Thursday, maybe Friday morning, but it's not going to be much of anything. So this is not a front we can get excited about. We will pick up some humidity, some cloud cover over the next day or so, but this is going to help actually just bring us back to the dry air. Dry air is good because the heat is not as oppressive. However, dry air is bad because it dries things out, and we don't need anything drying out right now. We need it to get wet and greened up. So the stormy weather is basically moving in that, the dry weather is moving that way. The stormy weather, we start watching along the West Coast. And what are you talking about, West Coast? Pacific Coast is going to send us something, all right? We'll talk about it in a moment. 49 will be our low, 50 out in San Antonio, 50 up in Houston, a little bit warmer also out in far west Texas. High temperatures tomorrow pushing up to the 80s, upper 80s. Yeah, I mean, that's hot, all right? We're looking actually at record-breaking temperatures for about a day or so. So these hot weather temperatures will be with us for this, part of October, but there is some hope on the horizon. That's what I'm here to tell you about. I'm here to give you some hope. Now, this is sort of bad news for the west coast of Mexico. This is Tropical Storm Norma. Norma is likely to strengthen up and will start moving northbound, and very likely will hit Cabo San Lucas. This is a big tourist area here with a lot of boats and a lot of resorts and a lot of ski boats. What are those, ski-doos and all that stuff? They're going to have some trouble with this because, if you can see, it's going to be a 1 category before it rolls through there. So it's 75 to 80 mile an hour winds right about there. Then it turns and rolls into the Sonoran Desert. And we have another map that'll show you where the moisture is going. This is out in the Atlantic. This is Sean. You can see it pretty much headed toward the Lesser Antilles. Believe it's not going to be a hurricane by the time, but it will be some nasty weather, okay? And that's about all. And then it turns away, and it's not an issue for us at all. We, of course, wonder what's going to happen out to the West Coast. And here's a very good example. Okay, first of all, here's a storm up north causing the wind. Then there's a little frontal system drifting through, bringing us more dry air. Right about Friday, you'll get a north wind for about a day. And then as we get to Saturday and Sunday, you can see the remnants of that storm beginning to creep up, slowly but surely, into the desert southwest. And so you can extrapolate that stuff's going to be somewhere in Texas. Will we get some? I think we will, because once that high pressure moves, then another front will bring some of that stuff through. So there's some rain in the 7-day, 10-day forecast. Here's your marine forecast. Sunrise at 7:30 in the morning. Sunset is at 6:53. It's getting earlier. Day planner for Port Lavaca, 66 in the morning up to 60, 88 in the afternoon. Warm, yeah. No sweaters tomorrow in Cuero, getting up to about 90. And there's your forecast. There's that dry line. There's Saturday. There's a little bit of a break, and then we start getting clouds, and we'll start watching the western states to see what's happening with the remnants of that storm. But right now, we do have some shower chance about Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody, we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. We'll toss it back to James and Karina.
Mac, thank you. He made a promise.
He made a
All
promise.
right.
Holding him accountable to it.
Coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we're going to take a look at your stocks. Plus, in business news, home building made a comeback last month.
Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow down 333 points, the S&P 500 down 58 points, and the Nasdaq down 219 points. Oil up $1.66, closing at $88.32 a barrel. Home building in the U.S. rebounded in September after dropping in August to the lowest level since 2020 as mortgage rates climbed. Housing starts jumped 7% above the revised August estimate to a seasonally adjusted yearly rate of more than 1.35 million last month. That figure fell short of expectations of 1.38 million. It was also more than 7% lower than a year ago.
Nearly 2/3 of the state's water and wastewater agencies say they need more workers. Now they're turning to high school students. You can read this story by the Texas Tribune at crossroadstoday.com.
Stay with us. We'll take one last look at your forecast. Plus, one neighborhood in South Carolina goes all out for Halloween. Here's a look at World News Tonight right after 25 News Now at 5.
Coming up tonight, the scene outside the U.S. Embassy in Beirut. Our reporter right there. President Biden in Israel on the horrors at that hospital in Gaza. The evidence so far, who he believes is behind it. The stunning moment today in the Natalie Holloway case, the prime suspect revealing how he
Some neighborhoods love to celebrate Halloween to the extent of a well-thought-out production. Look at this. Homeowners in this South Carolina neighborhood try to outdo themselves every Halloween, from spooky decorations, many handmade, to creepy and creative ways of giving out candy. Their goal is to impress trick-or-treaters. Some dedicate time spent on proper building and setting up their yards weeks before Halloween, sometimes even months. We mentioned Halloween is 13 days away.
That is bigger than Christmas there in some spots. I used to live in a neighborhood like that, where they looked at you like, you're not going to decorate?
When are you? Where's the decorations?
Okay, I'm going to decorate.
We got to peer pressure them into decorating.
They were peer pressuring me to make sure I decorated and kept up the whole neighborhood look there. So it was good. But you know, you put out a witch right now and you worry about her melting in the heat. You know, I mean, we're looking at almost 92 degrees by the time we get to Friday. A lot of this is because we're getting a west wind and it's a dry wind. And so you won't need any jackets or sweaters this weekend. But the ghosts and the goblins might need a little suntan lotion. Remember that. But the best news I have is that next week we do have a slight chance of a couple of little showers rolling around the area.
I'm melting.
That's right.
But it was water, wasn't it? I think it's
yes,
water.
It was water.
Yeah.
That was Wizard of Oz, right?
Thank you, Mac. Thank you for being with us.
We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with David Muir is up next.